So the Perfect IFA practice is built on two main foundation blocks. The first one being the Perfect IFA client proposition. And this is where you have a range of support services for clients where you exceed 100% of your client's expectations. And only by doing that are you going to have a perfect client proposition. Secondly, financial advisors that work within the Perfect IFA practice will have a perfect model for them to work within. We call it the Perfect Advisor model, and you can go to the www.perfectadvisormodel.co.uk to have a look at all of these different models. But what I want to talk about is the key differentiators between a fantastic IFA practice and a poor practice. And very often it doesn't come down to huge differences between a practice that will make one practice far better in a client's eyes than another. And an analogy I like to give here is, I always remember when I was a young lad many years ago, when Linford Christie and Carl Lewis were the two fastest men in the world over 100 metres, and they had a big showdown race, and the winner of the race was going to receive £100,000, which was a huge amount of money in those days, and the runner-up would only receive £50,000. There were a number of also-rans in the race, but the bottom line is the gun went and they ran over 100 metres, and Linford Christie won by something like 3/100ths of a second. It was a very small margin. But at that time he won £100,000, and the second place man, Carl Lewis, won £50,000. So the rewards were double, but he wasn't twice as quick. And the message that I'm trying to get across here is that you don't have to be twice as good as the next financial advisor, or your practice doesn't have to be twice as good as the next practice for you to deliver twice the amount of rewards for your own practice, and twice the amount of revenue, twice the amount of profit, and for your client to have twice as good an experience as dealing with the next practice. And I remember listening to Will Greenwood speak at the New Model Advisor Conference by Citywire earlier this year. And he said, if you can do 100 things 1% better in your practice, what difference would that make to your practice? So just to go back to Carl Lewis and Linford Christie. Linford Christie won that race by a few 100ths of a second, but actually he didn't win it there and then. He won it with his preparation, with his diet, with his daily routine, with his training routine. So there are many things that went into putting on that performance on that particular day, and of course he turned up, he was focused, he was sharp, and he delivered a great performance and had massive rewards for it. So for us in our practices, it's down to the small things that we do. Try and identify one or two areas where you can significantly, positively differentiate your practice over your competition, whether locally, regionally or nationally. But then focus on some of the smaller things. Focus on the minutiae, the fine detail of how you do things. Seek advice and help from the people within your practice that are doing the job day to day. Encourage an environment of challenge, whereby everybody within the business challenges the way that you do things now and looks for ways of improving them. And if you have this mentality and it comes from you at the top, and it filters down through everybody within your practice, the final outcome and the experience of the clients will be massively different than when they go to see another IFA down the road.